For 19 years, this murder had no killer, no suspect, no answers, until artificial intelligence looked at an old photo and exposed the truth. On February 10, 2006, in the village of Aram, a small rural village known for its quiet lifestyle and close-knit community near Ankol and Kollam district, Kerala, India, a woman named Santama returned home from a short visit to the local Panchayat office. She had gone there to handle paperwork related to the birth certificates of her newborn granddaughters. When she entered the rented house, she discovered her 24-year-old daughter, Ranjini, lying in a pool of blood with multiple stab wounds, and her 17-day-old twin daughters with their throats slit. Ranjini was an unwed mother who worked as a tailor and in a local self-help group program. Her mother, Santama, worked in a cashew factory after being abandoned by her husband earlier. The family had faced social stigma due to Ranjini's pregnancy. The background of the crime traced back to Ranjini's relationship with her neighbor, Devil Kumar, also spelled Devil Kumar B, a soldier in the Indian Army's 45 Air Defense Regiment stationed in Pantakat, Punjab. The two had been in a relationship, and Ranjini became pregnant with twins. Devil denied paternity and distanced himself. Ranjini gave birth to the twin girls on January 24, 2006 at SAT Hospital in Tiruvananthapuram. To establish paternity and seek support, Ranjini approached the Kerala State Women's Commission, which ordered a DNA test for Devil. This threatened Devil's position, leading him to plan the murders. During Ranjini's hospital stay for delivery, Devil's army colleague, Rajesh P., from Srikandrapuram in Kannur, approached the family, introducing himself falsely as Anil Kumar. He befriended Ranjini and Santama, offered help, visited their home multiple times, and even assisted in finding the rented house in Ankol to avoid social scrutiny. If you enjoy this story, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. You can also enable notifications to be notified of the next story. On the day of the crime, Rajesh convinced Santama to go to the Panchayat office. While she was away, he entered the house and carried out the murders, stabbing Ranjini and slitting the throats of the infants. Police investigation quickly identified Devil Kumar and Rajesh as suspects based on leads like a motorcycle registration found at the scene, which led to a used bike shop and bank records linking them. Both were army personnel on leave at the time. However, they deserted the army in March 2006 and disappeared. The trail went cold after tracking some ATM transactions to places like Nashik and Nagpur. Santama continued seeking justice, moving to Kollam and living modestly. Kollam is a coastal city in the Indian state of Kerala, located along the Arabian Sea. It is one of India's oldest port cities, historically known for spice trade and its connection to ancient maritime routes. In 2010, on her petition, the Kerala High Court transferred the case to the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI. The case remained unsolved for years until 2023-24, when the Technical Intelligence Wing of Kerala Police revisited cold cases using artificial intelligence. They took old, low-quality photos of the suspects from 2006 and used AI tools to age progress the images, generating multiple variations, different hairstyles, facial features, to predict their appearance after 19 years. These AI-generated images were searched against social media profiles, particularly on Facebook. One image matched with about 90% similarity to a photo from a wedding post leading to Rajesh, who was living in Puducherry under the false name Praveen Kumar, or Pradeep in some reports. He was working as an interior designer and was married to a school teacher. Through interrogation, police located Devil Kumar nearby, living as Vishnu, also working as an interior designer and married to a teacher. Both had completely changed their identities and integrated into society in Puducherry. Puducherry is a small union territory on the southeastern coast of India along the Bay of Bengal. It is known for its French colonial heritage, distinctive architecture, and a unique blend of Indian and European culture. On January 4, 2025, The CBI arrested both men in Puducherry based on intelligence from Kerala police. They were produced in court in Kochi and remanded to custody. This case highlighted the role of AI in solving long-pending cold cases, bringing closure after nearly 2 decades of waiting for the victim's family. Do you believe artificial intelligence should be used more often to solve cold cases, even if the crime happened decades ago? Why or why not? If AI can reconstruct faces and track suspects after 19 years, do you think any crime can truly remain hidden forever? If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who loves true crime stories. In a city of millions, a single color became a death sentence. No headlines, no warnings, just whispers, and women bleeding in the dark. This is the terrifying true story of the killer who hunted only women wearing red, while an entire city was kept in silence. In the summer of 2001, the city of Wuhan, a major city in central China and the capital of Hubei province, often called the heart of the country due to its central location, seemed normal on the surface. But a terrifying rumor began spreading quietly among the people. Everyone was whispering about a serial killer who targeted only women, specifically those wearing red clothes. No one knew the full truth because the newspapers didn't cover it at all, yet word of mouth could not be stopped. One Thursday night in June, Wang Guoyu, a 41-year-old woman, was walking home after her usual mahjong game with friends. She cut through the bustling night market filled with vendors and strong smells, then turned into the long, narrow Chinaway alley. The street lighting was extremely weak. Darkness covered everything like a heavy blanket. She was always cautious on this route, which is why she had stopped wearing jewelry whenever she took this shortcut. She walked quickly, her steps speeding up as she approached the metal gate of her apartment building, thinking to herself, "Please let me get home safe. This alley feels scarier tonight than ever." She opened the gate and suddenly felt a powerful blow to her head with a brick. She stumbled, screamed at the top of her lungs, her heart pounding like a drum, cold sweat running down her back, her legs shaking as she tried to fight back. The attacker stabbed her 7 times in the chest with a large watermelon knife. Blood splattered across her red dress, and he fled into the darkness, leaving her to die. Neighbors heard the screams and rushed over, but it was too late. Wang wasn't the only victim. Between May and June 2001, 6 other women in Wuhan were attacked. 3 survived by miracle, and 3 died. Strangely, most of the victims were wearing red, which is why the rumor spread like wildfire. The killer only targets women in red. Women started avoiding the color red completely, switching to blue or anything else, and even the mayor officially warned women not to wear red outside. Fear gripped the city. No one dared go out at night, and the streets emptied after sunset. The very next day after Wang's death, they found the body of a 20-year-old migrant woman who worked as a dishwasher in a restaurant. She was discovered on the staircase of her building, stabbed 38 times, her red dress soaked in blood. The wounds were so numerous, it was as if the attacker had gone into a frenzy. Police formed a massive investigation team, over 1,000 officers, and confirmed it was a serial murder case. All the victims were women on their own, aged 20 to 40, attacked at night in dark places. The killer would lurk in the shadows, follow his victims silently like a cat, then strike from behind, covering her mouth with his left hand and stabbing with his right. After months of terror, they discovered the killer wasn't new to this. In a nearby city of Yiyang, about 200 kilometers away, there was a 29-year-old man named Duan Guocheng who had been on the run from police there. Duan grew up in a poor family that moved around a lot, leaving him isolated and craving attention. From a young age, he fought and stole. At 13, he was sent to juvenile detention center for 7 years. When he grew up, he dressed in neat Western-style suits to look mature, but he never stopped his criminal habits. He hated his father and blamed him for the family's poverty, while his mother spoiled him. Once, he brought a woman home, but she left when she learned he had no money. Duan started killing in Yiyang in 1999, murdering 9 women, most wearing red, and robbing them. When police closed in on him in February 2001, he fled to Wuhan and checked into cheap hotels under his mother's surname. In Wuhan, he continued the same pattern, sleeping by day, going out at night, stalking, robbing, and killing. Later, during interrogation, he said his first murder was accidental. The woman screamed too much, so he stabbed her to silence her. But the screaming triggered something strange in him, a mix of terror and excitement. He began stabbing more if the victim screamed. One woman was stabbed 38 times, her chest carved like a honeycomb, because, as he put it, she kept barking. In August 2001, Wuhan police finally connected the cases to Duan. They burst into his room at a cheap hotel and arrested him while he was in his underwear. He fought fiercely at first, but eventually confessed everything. He said he robbed to fund a relatively comfortable life, gambling, drinking, and sleeping in air-conditioned rooms. He was tried in 2002, sentenced to death in March 2003, and executed. The case was closed, but many questions remained unanswered. Why specifically red? Why the biting and mutilation in some cases? Duan never explains the real motive, and he took those secrets to his grave. What made the story even more chilling wasn't just Duan's brutality, but the silence surrounding it. The media didn't report the crimes at first to avoid causing panic or highlighting rising crime in the new China. Police across provinces failed to coordinate properly, allowing the killer to live for months among millions of people, sleeping in cheap hotels by day and waiting for night to hunt his next victim. In the end, it was the rumor, the word of mouth, that likely saved many lives, not the media or the police. That's what makes the red dress killer case one of the most horrifying in modern Chinese history. In your opinion, could some of the victims have been saved if the media hadn't stayed silent about the case? What do you think? Do you believe the killer truly targeted the color red, or was there a deeper reason that was never revealed? If you found this video disturbing or thought-provoking, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories, and share the video with someone who's interested in real crime cases. He convinced an entire nation he was rehabilitated, celebrated as a writer, trusted by journalists, and invited onto television, while secretly hunting and killing again. This is the terrifying story of how culture, media, and mercy helped create a serial killer. Jack Unterweger, whose full name was Johann Jack Unterweger, was born on August 16, 1950, in Judenburg, a small town in the Austrian state of Styria, known for its tranquility and distance from major urban centers. He was the illegitimate son of an Austrian mother named Theresia Unterweger, a bar waitress with a criminal record for minor offenses such as fraud, trespassing, theft, forgery, and embezzlement. Theresia spent periods in prison, including in Salzburg in January 1951 for fraud, which led to Jack being placed with a foster mother in Plenberg. In February 1952, he moved to live with his grandfather Ferdinand Weiser and Maria Springer in Pischelsdorf, a rural village in southern Austria characterized by its simple lifestyle and close-knit community until the age of 8. Jack claimed his grandfather was an alcoholic, had extramarital affairs, forced him to watch sex acts, and stole animals, but records and relatives described Weiser as a frail man with lung problems and bronchitis, and portrayed Jack as a liar. Theresia married an American soldier named Donald van Blarcom in March 1953 and paid him 100 shillings a month in alimony, despite Jack's doubts about his paternity due to the resemblance. After the marriage, Jack lived temporarily with his great-aunt Juliana Weiser in Strasbourg, a historic European city on the border between France and Germany, renowned for its cultural and political significance, where he later claimed to have witnessed the death of a friend in an excavator accident, a story vehemently denied by relatives. In April 1959, Jack entered the care of the Drovnik family in Lebenfels, and then attended an evangelical reform school in Triffen from 1962 to 1965. He left the school in 1965 and apprenticed as a waiter in a hotel in St. Petersburg. He worked in Veit Enderglan for 6 months before being dismissed, followed by other short training courses in St. Adam and Arlberg, Mondsee, and Bad Hofgestein, all of which ended quickly due to theft. St. Anton am Arlberg, a famous mountain village in Tyrol, Austria, considered one of the world's best ski resorts, full of snowy slopes and upscale hotels. Mondsee, a charming small town in Upper Austria located on the shores of the beautiful Blue Lake Mondsee, known for its peaceful natural scenery and connection to the film The Sound of Music. Bad Hofgestein, a spa town in the Gastein Valley, Salzburg State, famous for its thermal springs, ski resorts, and stunning alpine mountain views. His first conviction was in November 1966 for stealing 527 shillings from hotel guests, resulting in 3 days in jail and 13 months in a juvenile facility in Vienna. After release in December 1967, he continued working as a waiter while stealing and claimed a boxing career denied by records. At age 18, authorities determined further education was unlikely to succeed. Between 1966 and 1974, he accumulated 16 convictions for burglary, breaking and entering, pimping, sexual assault, and physical assault. In 1968 to 1969, he served 10 months for theft. In 1969, 4 months for burglary. In 1970, 7 months for abducting a minor and theft, extended by 3 months for a threatening letter. On May 13, 1971, in Salzburg, a historic city in Austria known for its classic music heritage and Baroque architecture, and often associated with culture rather than violent crime, he lured a sex worker named Monica H. into his car, beat her with a metal rod, stripped and tied her, and raped her with the rod. He was arrested after her escape and attempted suicide by overdose before being released from psychiatric care. Some sources say the rape was in 1974 with a teenage student named Daphne. In August 1971, he fled to West Germany but was arrested and returned. On April 1, 1973, the 23-year-old Yugoslavian Marika Horvath was found murdered in Lake Salzach near Salzburg, tied with stockings and a tie. Jack was suspected due to the tie's origin in Vols, but his underage girlfriend's testimony led to charges being dropped. On October 22, 1973, in Kitzbühel, a small mountain town in western Austria, famous for its ski resorts and upscale lifestyle, he lured a nurse named Maria W. into his car, drove to Obendorf, attempted rape after sudden braking, beat her, but she escaped. He admitted beating her but claimed consensual intent and a car accident. In March 1974, he was convicted of theft, then assaulted Elizabeth L. in Rohrbach, beating and sexually assaulting her while threatening her child. In July 1974, he assaulted 2 women, one losing a tooth, then moved to Switzerland with Anila Z, working as a DJ and waiter. They met Barbara Scholes, who became his girlfriend alongside E., both underage and working in prostitution for him. On December 11, 1974, in Ebersbach, a small German town far from major cities with a quiet residential character, Jack and Scholes burglarized Scholes' parents' home. 18-year-old Margaret Schaefer caught them and was forced into the car. After the burglary, they tied Schaefer, beat her with an iron rod, raped her with it, strangled her manually, covered the body, and tied her bra around her neck post-mortem to suggest a sex game. In January 1975, he and others robbed a jewelry store in Ebersbach. Ebersbach is a small town in eastern Germany, primarily residential and industrial, far removed from major metropolitan centers. He fled to Switzerland and kidnapped Anneliese for ransom, arrested in Basel, a Swiss city located at the crossroads of 3 countries with significant legal and financial importance. On January 17th, returned to Austria. Convicted in July 1975 on 4 rape and assault charges from 1971 to 1974, he received 3 years. On June 1st, 1976, sentenced to life for Schaefer's murder. Scholes got 8 years as an accomplice. Investigation into Horvath's murder was closed. In prison, he wrote stories, poems, plays, and an autobiography titled Fegefeuer oder die Riesens Zuchthaus, basis for a 1988 film, known as a prison writer. He plagiarized works, including from Sanja von Eisenstein, and sent modified poems to Hermann Hesse as his own. His plays focused on class struggle and nonviolent, self-justifying crimes, omitting murder. He lied about the murder, claiming blackout from drugs and hallucinations of his mother, and invented a fictional Aunt Anna based on an unrelated 1967 crime article. A 1985 amnesty campaign by intellectuals like Elfriede Jelinek and Günter Grass failed. President Rudolf Kirchschlager refused, citing 15 years as minimum. Released on May 23, 1990, after 15 years. His works were taught in schools, stories broadcast. He appeared on TV discussing rehabilitation and worked as a journalist for Austrian radio, ORF, even reporting on crimes he committed. Months after release, he resumed killing. On September 14, 1990, in Prague, Czechoslovakia, he met and manually strangled and roped 30-year-old Blanka Bakova near the Vltava River. In Austria, October 1990 to May 1991, he killed at least 7 sex workers, some unregistered, lured, drove to remote locations, beat, raped, strangled manually, most, or with underwear, bras, stockings, tights, bodies in forests. Victims: October 27, 1990, Graz, the second largest city in Austria and an important cultural and university center outside of Vienna. Brunhilde Masser, 41, found January 26, 1991 in Grattan. December 5, 1990, Bregenz, a small city on Lake Constance located near the German and Swiss borders. Heidi Marie Heidi Hammerer, 31, found December 31, 1990 in Lustenau. March 7, 1991, Graz, Elfried Schremp, 35, found October 5, 1991 in Liebring, and others. He maintained relationships with journalists, lawyers, sex workers, students. Lived with journalist Margit Haas. Contacted Regina Prem's husband Rudolf, threatening and misleading, including calls from Jack himself. In summer 1991, hired by an Austrian magazine to write about crime and prostitution in Los Angeles, accompanied police on red light district patrols. In Los Angeles and Malibu, killed 3 sex workers: Shannon Exley, 35, on June 20th, Irene Rodriguez, 33, on June 28th, Peggy Jean Booth, known as Sherry Ann Long, 26, on July 3rd. Beat, raped, strangled, cut bras, and tied with granny knots for strangulation. Back in Austria, suspected due to crimes, questioned by police but alibied by U.S. trip. On October 8, 1991, called Prem again, reminding a false location and 11 victims. Arrested as a fugitive with girlfriend Bianca Mark after chase through Switzerland, France, and U.S. Captured by U.S. Marshals in Miami, Florida on February 27, 1992. Extradited to Austria on May 27, 1992, charged with 11 murders. Girlfriends Haas and lawyer Astrid Wagner initially supported him. Jury convicted on 9 murders, 6-2 vote, on June 29, 1994. Psychiatrist Reinhard Haller diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. Sentenced to life without parole. That night, suicided in Graz-Karlau prison, a high-security Austrian prison in the city of Graz. Not a city in its own right, by strangling himself with shoelace and pants cord, using the same knot as his victims. Verdict non-binding due to death before appeal review. Total confirmed victims around 12, including 1974 murder, with suspicions of more. His story became a symbol of rehabilitation failure and how the cultural elite deceive itself by supporting a serial killer. Featured in numerous documentaries, still sparking debates in Austria about media and justice. Do you believe true rehabilitation is possible for violent criminals? Or did society make a fatal mistake trusting Jack Unterweger? Who do you think bears more responsibility here? The justice system, the media, or the intellectual elite who defended him? If you found this story disturbing and thought-provoking, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more real crime stories that challenge what we think we know.